Hey crew, this is Mike, and I have something to show you. For the life of me, I cannot figure out what the hell Harley Davidson is doing on these 2022 touring models. So I've been sitting on a photo for over 10 days now, trying to figure out what this is and what it means. An overseas customer was told they had to wait to get their new bike while the dealer waited on parts to come in to fix a faulty brake component on tourers. After 4 weeks, they were finally told it would be ready soon, and this is the fix for the faulty brake component. Now, if you don't see what is wrong with the brake line yet here, let me highlight that for you. This appears to be a split piece of rubber tubing with 2 zip ties on it to secure it over a brake line fitting. As I mentioned, this bike was from overseas, so that means it was assembled in Thailand. Now, me being the investigative guy I am, I started reaching out to other sources and was able to confirm other bikes in that country and bikes here in the US that were delivered recently have had the same fix applied to them. I believe here in the US that these fixes were at least applied at the factory and not the dealer. The dealership I spoke to was surprised that these were on the bikes that were recently delivered. Here are some photos I was able to get from different touring models. Now, I have talked to car mechanics and motorcycle mechanics. I've even reached out to Harley Davidson to try and get an explanation. Harley has not gotten back to me, but if they do, I will update the pinned comment below with their response. The mechanics I've spoken to have had some different theories on why Harley may be doing this, and we'll get into those in a second. But they all agree that this is not a reasonable fix for a faulty brake component. Is it possible this fix is for some other purpose than a faulty brake component? I guess that is possible, but what would those reasons be? Suggested reasons for this fix have included to keep the line from rubbing on the paint, but I don't think that explains the fix at the top of the brake line away from the painted surfaces. Another suggestion was to black out the components, and at the risk of offending someone, I think that's absurd. First off, this is a cheap and poor way of doing something like that on a $30,000 motorcycle. Second, this fix is found on bikes with chrome and black trim packages, so I just can't buy that explanation. Someone said it could be to protect from corrosion, and while that may be true, it seems like, again, this is a poor looking solution and doesn't explain why only some of the bikes have this fix. If you guys out there have an explanation, please leave me a comment. Maybe you guys are smarter than I am. That wouldn't surprise me. Or I'm just overlooking something obvious. One thing is for certain, no one can find a service bulletin or anything from Harley Davidson explaining why they have started doing this. Now, I have to wonder if this has anything to do with the abundance of caution that led Harley Davidson to shut down the York plant back on May 19th. You remember when they issued a statement about a third-party supplier part and regulatory compliance? I remember when I put that video out, and someone told me not to speculate and just wait for Harley Davidson to explain why they did it. Well, here we are over 2 months later with no explanation. And I don't expect them to do so if they don't get pressured into it in some way. I'm not currently planning to buy a 2022 touring bike this year, but if I was, I would want an explanation for this fix. I'm still holding out hope for a Pan American 975 or another revival bike to be released this year. I really dig the new Lowrider ST, and I can't wait to test ride one, but till then, I'm holding on to my money to see what's next from Harley. What are you hoping to see released from Harley Davidson next? Are you waiting for that water-cooled Revolution Max bagger still? It's been really hot this summer here in the Ozarks so far. I hope you all are staying cool where you're at and riding as much as you can. Stay safe and keep on riding.